So let's go to some stock picks. Devin, let's start with you. Yeah. You're going with Omnia.
Yeah, going local. Omnia, not always one that's chatted about. What you got here as a company that's been around for ages, I think 7 years plus, manufactures and supplies chemicals into a number of industries, so agriculture, mining, and the chemical sector itself. So it does make it a cyclical business, but what you've got here is just a real decades of built up specialized skill processes and IP that we think is very difficult to replicate. Looking at the business, it's got a really strong capital structure. They've been very good at controlling costs, and my sense is that they are ideally positioned as you start to get this growth continue to filter through into the primary sectors like agriculture and mining, that they're ideally positioned supplying into that.
Yeah, and I remember that rights issue, was it 2020? And they promised to pay it back to shareholders, and at last set of results, they have paid it back to shareholders, which is a rarity, perhaps. I take your point on it. Grant, you're going with L'Oreal offshore, and a blend of a lot of what we've been talking about this evening. Excellence, some luxuries, some resilience.
Absolutely. Simon, that's exactly the point, right? You've got this luxury beauty cosmetic space is incredibly defensive on one hand, and yet it's still growing. Everyone wants to look good, everyone wants to feel good. As the world economy grows, or even if it slows down, the growth you've got these urbanizing populations in India, in China, and everywhere else in the world, and the demand for these products continues to grow. So they're also usually an accessible price point, so they're not as price sensitive. And this is a fantastic business, well run. The margins have been growing for decades, let alone the last couple of years. Excellent management, clear strategy. So fantastic business. It's had a good pullback from its highs, and I think you would want to own this one over the long term in your portfolio.
Yeah, and I take your point. Pullbacks often scare us, but the flip side is, as we mentioned about Richmond, pullbacks are also opportunities. Sometimes they're not, but sometimes they absolutely are, and L'Oreal is one of those. That's all for tonight's Stock Watch. Thanks to our guest, Devin Shutte from the Robert Group. He went with Omnia. Grant Nader from Benguela Global Fund Managers going with L'Oreal, listed offshore. Up next, the close. Stay tuned.